Sup guys, this is Vin with Freaks and Geeks, and today we're going to talk about Under Night In-Birth Exe Late Claire. Under Night In-Birth has really made a huge splash among fighting game fans lately. With the developer French Bread's experience with Melty Blood, slick captivating characters, and accessible yet deep combat, it's no wonder that the game has taken off. We have previously seen Under Night In-Birth Exe Late, Exe Latest, and now Claire, which is the series' third console iteration. It's available for PlayStation 4, and it marks the series' debut on the Nintendo Switch. As with any fighting game revision, the game features new content. The new character Londrekia, new colors, and new unlockable gallery content really provide reasons to revisit Under Night. But the most striking feature is a brand new move for each and every character, which really shakes things up. Claire features plenty of content from earlier versions, but it's well worth picking up for series vets, and especially for those remotely interested in anime-styled fighting games. One of Under Night's primary features is its rich lore, but here's a quick summary. The universe is supernatural and modern, and the Hollow Knight is a recurring phenomenon that envelops a given area. The area is full of dangerous voids who feast upon mortals, and those who survive voids attacks become in-births, hence the game's title. Multiple factions come to conflict as they differ in their methods about dealing with the Hollow Knight. Fundamentally, the game is a one-on-one fighter full of different normals, specials, and supers. The game's ABCD button layout is familiar and easy to understand. It's comprised of light, medium, heavy, and an EXS action button. This button performs actions like shielding, charging, and advancing. A few key features really create some high-octane situations. The grind grid in the middle of the screen is a tug-of-war that rewards offensive play. When the circular timer fills after 16 seconds, the player with more gauge gets a Vorpal state that provides offensive buffs and more meter building options. This really keeps the combat fresh and unique. And speaking of fresh, the game gives players plenty of options. If you press B and C together, you can perform a character-specific force function. Some attacks become more powerful by holding down a button too. All in all, players have plenty of options, but the key is that the action is easy to pick up with tons of depth. Many specials can be performed with any of the three primary buttons, and the quarter circle and down commands are pretty familiar. The most important part is just how jam-packed the game is. There's a typical arcade mode, but there's also a Chronicles mode that gives players insight into the game's backstory. There's score attack, time attack, and survival for twists on the single player formula. And there's the returning tutorial mode, which is still one of the most comprehensive tutorials in fighting game history. It has nearly 200 lessons ranging from movement all the way to mind games. There's also mission mode where players can pick up some sick new combos to try out too. One returning feature is gallery mode, but this game features a lot of stuff to unlock, even more so than before. It's practically 1.5 times the amount of content from the last game, but the really cool part is how players can see some concept art in early drafts, and also some new promo art from the past few years. There's a lot to sink your teeth into, and it'll keep players engaged and interested in unlocking content. As one can imagine, the game has some pretty crazy characters. There are weapon users, pugilists, and even those who use blood and summons to attack. But we have to talk about the new character Londrekia, who rounds out the roster at 21 characters. Londrekia is a lot of fun to use. He's got some straightforward icy projectile action, but he also has an attack with height variations depending on the button used. He can then do different follow-ups depending on the button as well. His style basically looks like dance, perhaps with a touch of figure skating. But he's not the only star of the show. Everyone has a brand new move or chargeable attack. For example, Hilda can hover in the air, Hyde is a full screen follow-up laser, and Batista can enter a stance where she can perform moves that she would normally need to perform charge motions for. It's all really wild, and these tweaks are seemingly minor on the surface, but they result in plenty of brand new mind games. Of course, the game's visuals and audio are well crafted. These pixel art sprites still have aged well even over several years, and the backgrounds and hand-drawn dialogue portraits are vibrant. This brand new menu design is cleanly put together too. This music is also insanely jammin'. I'm still jamming the Yu Zuriha's upbeat theme and rocking to Gordeau's frenetic guitar theme. Everyone will be pleased to know that Unknown Actor, the previous version's theme song, is now usable in battle. This song features some really awesome vocals, and it really fits the game's tone. Under Night is a fantastic fighting game that has only become better with Claire. Despite being a revision, Claire feels substantial. The tweaks may be relatively minor, but the way they round out the package feels solid and meaningful. This game will empower anyone who wants to experience some anime-inspired fighting action, and you really can't go wrong with Claire. We wholeheartedly recommend giving it a go if you're remotely interested in fighting games or anime. Thanks for watching our review. This has been Vin with Confreaks and Geeks. Please view our social media channels for more great content, and as always, stay freaky geeky.